keep it real with ya.
Hey everybody, it's me, Minu, back with another video. I'm just now thinking that I probably should have made this video earlier in the week because my hair don't look as good as it did earlier in the week when I had just got it done. So I'm just gonna try to show you guys like the length because that's really what I got this hairstyle for, was to show you the length. But now I saw this shrinkage and I done slept on it. No wonder she told me to come back before the new year. But I'm a hold out before the new year, and I just rearranged some stuff in the background. Don't pay it too much mind. I'll probably flip it back later on. I just did it for a different type of thing I was doing. Anyway, okay, do you see the longer ones? All the way down here, all the way down here. Look at it. This is from the top of my head all the way down here. And then let me show you one of these ones back here. One's back here. Damn near going off screen with how long they are. And that really makes me happy because for those of you, most of you have only been here since the asexual discourse video, but even that's been a minute. Um, you notice I didn't have a lot of hair. I did not have a lot of hair because back in I've been getting perms my whole life, but in college it really got bad because I couldn't afford to keep getting my hair done to keep getting perms. Um, and so the longer I would go between perms, the more thick my hair would be, and the more I would try to comb and brush it to make it straight again. Which, as I know, every black woman who's watching this video suddenly cringed because I pulled my fucking hair out and I was literally having like a bald spot at the top of my head because of the fact that I was constantly trying to brush and comb it to make it straight again, which is impossible because that's not how it naturally grows out of your head. Um, to the point where when my cousin started doing my hair and doing my braids and all that stuff, she was like, I don't even think I can put a braid up here because there's nothing for me to grip at the top of your head. And now look at me. Look at this. Look at this. That's that's so much length going from I can't do a braid because this area of your hair is so short there's nothing for me to grip to my natural hair just growing out of my head like that. Look at this. Look at this. And I can pull it as hard as I want because it's my hair. It's not weave that's magically gonna like fall out or like, you know what I mean? But I can, it's so long. And it just made me so happy to see it. Obviously, if it was permed or straightened, some of you might better understand the length. But for those of you who are people of color who understand braids and all that stuff, you understand that for my hair to be able to be in this style, it has to be very long, like down my back long. And that makes me very, very happy. And that's the whole purpose of this video. I'm just going to be sharing my wins from this week and happy stuff. I know usually I make videos, I'm like, I'm sad, I'm depressed. It's the holidays, I'm alone, blah, 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 trauma, mental health. Like, yeah, we do that too. But this week I've been feeling very like content with my life choices. And that just makes me very happy. So one of my wins for this week has been my hair. And I know that because this is my real hair and not some kind of like weave or synthetic hair, is gonna frizz up, is gonna shrink. These are already much poofier because they're a flat twist. These are already much poofier than they were when I first got it. And I think I'll share some pictures um, of it, of how it looked then. I had my mask on in the picture, but you can still see the hair. It looks really cute when it was freshly done. But even now, it still looks cute. Um, but that's win number one. My hair looks good. It's long. It's healthy. And it makes me happy because I have so much issues around my hair. And I've had so many issues where, when I would get permed, I would get burned on my forehead, my neck, everything. Um, Having burns on your scalp is not fun. Then trying to maintain my hair whenever it got thick, I had no idea how to maintain my own hair. I'd never learned how to do my own hair. to go into salons and being told that they would have to perm my hair in order to braid it because my hair was just too thick. And being forced to perm my hair after going so many years without doing perms because the stylist wouldn't do it, right? Um, to losing hair again, to being this close to chopping it all off and just going like the bald style, not fully bald, but you know what I mean, that a lot of black women do, to finally finding a natural hair salon that was like, I'm going to teach you how to have a healthy relationship with your hair. And so even though I still don't know how to do my own hair, I feel more comfortable touching it. I feel more comfortable maneuvering it, when I take it down and like trying to like detangle it a little bit or put it in a ponytail, just touching it alone, I feel a lot better because it feels healthy. It doesn't feel broken. It doesn't feel dry. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't feel like, this dense forest that I'm wandering into and I'm completely lost and I don't know, guys, somebody help me. It feels more like, oh, this is my hair. And things can be done with it. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do when I move out of the city because I'm gonna have to find either another natural hair salon or I'm just gonna have to have my hair looking how it's looking for however long it takes for me to actually learn how to do my own hair. Um, I struggle a lot with learning how to do my own hair. I understand that there are YouTube videos that seemingly are for beginners and easy, but I have these weird mental blocks that make it hard for me to like imagine what the back of my head looks like. Even if you have like mirrors and everything, it's really hard for me to try to like do stuff on the back of my head or like try to do a braid. I don't know why. I can't follow directions sometimes. It's just I'm bad with that. I'm bad with recipes. Like I just don't follow directions well. And then I veer off into something else and now I'm looking crazy. But so that was a win. The other win of this week was that I went to a trampoline park with my group therapy group, and it was our last group. Um, and we wanted to do something kiddie because it's an inner child group. So we wanted to do something to just really like let our inner childs flourish, right? And so there was multiple wins here because I live kind of outside of the main city, so I often have to drive for a good period of time to get to them and where they want to go. But this time they came to me. They came to my area and I didn't have to do a lot of driving and I pushed for them to come to my area and they agreed. They was like, we hate that street that you live off of, but we'll go to the trampoline park that's nearest to you." And so we did that, and it wasn't just a trampolines. They also had other stuff there like and I don't have pictures. Literally, we put our phones down. We didn't take a lot of pictures and we just went and we just had fun. It was like pre-phone era fun. Like it. So there's an area where it's just like it's all the trampolines, right? The big trampoline rooms. And then there's also areas where there was like a ball pit, there was a foam pit, there was these little obstacle courses, there was these big giant I don't know what it was. I guess it's like a big balloon or something, like a big square balloon, and you could take turns jumping on it. Every time I jumped on it, I fucking sank. I know that I'm close to the weight limit on a lot of this stuff, but I was still able to do it. So I just needed help getting out because I sank hard. Um, but even in those moments where I was like, "Oh, somebody help me get out," they were like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you get out." Nobody was like, "Ugh, why do I have to help you get out?" You know what I mean? Like it was very restorative. One, I've never been to a trampoline park. That's the first thing. But the second thing is to be with people who they're having fun too, and no one at any point made anyone feel bad or guilty or shamed or ugly. I feel like if when I was a child, what I would have expected to happen would be like, I'd be jumping on a trampoline and someone would make a comment about how I'm so fat. You know what I mean? Like there's always some shit going on. And my brain was like kind of expecting some of it because it's like, oh, are people looking at me jumping? You know what I mean? Can this thing handle me? Oh, I'm so big. Um, and all of that, but nobody did any of that. We were all jumping, we would all get tired. We all would need to take a break here and there to drink some water. Like my therapist was like, y'all won't last more than 15 minutes because you're all out of shape, including her. She was like, I'm out of shape too. And Sure enough, several minutes in, I needed to stop and take a water break, but I was able to go back in and we ended up staying there for an hour and a half. And I was surprised at myself by how long I was able to jump on everything. And I was like doing little tricks. And obviously, I didn't do like backflips and nothing, but I was like trying to do little tricks and everything. Like, I had a lot of fun. And I feel like when I was younger, when I would be on not a trampoline, but I'd be in like the bounce houses and stuff, I was always the biggest kid in the bounce house. So it was either going to be me helping the other kids jump because they're like, "Ooh, you're so fat. If you jump, we'll all just fly in the air." Or it'd be B, don't go in that bounce house because you're too big. Because I had puberty early. I was the biggest kid in my grade for a long time. So to be here on a weeknight, so there wasn't a lot of kids there, to be here with these other people who, yeah, I'm still bigger than them, but it wasn't by that much because they're adults too. We're all adults. And for us to just be having fun, no one's looking at me. No one, I don't have to feel self conscious about anything. They did this thing like called saying it to be the egg or something like that. I never played something like that. So I was like sitting down and someone came over and they're like, "You're gonna be the egg," and I was like, "The what?" And they're like, "I'm gonna jump and you're gonna go in the air," and I was like, "I've never had a situation where someone else could jump next to me and I would go up because I was again always the biggest person." So she came over and she's jumping and I'm just like, "Whoa, wait, I'm actually going up in the air. What? Huh?" And my therapist was watching because she was jumping with us. And she was watching and I was like, "Oh my God, I can go in the air. Woo." Like it was so weird. But it was fun. I was having a great time. And then I like fell and they were like, "Oh, you cracked." And I was like, "Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to flop." Because there was so many times where I jumped and I was just like when I came back down. But it was fun. I did hit my head once, but it was fun. Um, and we like stayed all the way until closing because we could have like the original plan was to leave after 30 minutes. We stayed an hour and a half. And I even when they were done jumping, I continued to jump. Like they were like taking breaks. They was like, "Oh, we tired," you know. And I think my therapist was like, "Yeah, I got 20 more minutes before they close." So they like had started taking breaks, drinking water, everything like that. And I just kept jumping. And nobody made me feel weird for continuing to jump while they were taking breaks. And we were a big enough group to where we could split off. A couple people go over here to fight in the foam pit and a couple people go over here to jump and you know all of that stuff. And so no, I never felt like weird or uncomfortable or alone. Even when I was the only one jumping towards the end, I was just like in my zone having a good time. um it was great. It was great. And then we went to a restaurant that was closer, even closer to where I stay, that I really liked eating at. Now I ain't gonna lie, I know damn well I should not have ate them tortilla chips. I know that they were fried with everything else, so I know that they were contaminated with gluten, but a bitch was hungry. You know how many calories I had to have burned an hour and a half at a trampoline park? Like, I was starving. I could not wait for them to bring me any food. They brought out them chips and dip, and I just went ham. And I paid for it. I paid for it. My therapist even was like, "Now you know you can't eat these chips." And I was like, "I know, but I'm so hungry." And then later she was like, "Well, since you've already screwed it up, you want to eat some chicken wings?" Like she gave me some of her chicken wings. She was like, she was like, "If you're gonna fuck it up, you might as well fuck it all the way up and eat some of these wings." I was like, "Okay." um, but it was a good time. Everybody was talking and everything. I ended up coming out as asexual. I didn't technically come out. So somebody at the group is a non-binary person and they spoke about changing their name. And that's something I've been talking about with my therapist. I don't really like my real legal name. I don't like the first name, the middle name, the last name. I don't like any of it. Um and at some point in the future, I would like to change it. That's why I don't go by my real name here. I don't like that name. And so they were changing their name legally for the second time. And they said that they had gotten like this nonprofit that's for LGBT people to pay for it. And so I was like, "Oh man, you think," and they told me, they was like, "Yeah, I can send you the link and everything so that you can get them to pay for it." And I was like, "But would they pay for it if I'm not trans?" And they were like, "Oh, but you're asexual. That's LGBT, right?" And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, if they'll still do it. And then someone else across the room was like, wait, you're asexual? And I was like, well, yeah. We've been in groups since like February. Like, so I've known these people since February. It's like now it's just not coming out by accident, but I didn't mind. It's not like I was like, oh, I can't believe you outed me. Like, it's fine. We've all connected. I'm comfortable with everybody. Um, And so there was a white woman sitting next to me, like, oh my God, I didn't know that. That's so interesting. And then there was a black woman, the only other black woman in the group. She was kind of sitting across from me. And I was like, yeah, I'm asexual. That's why I don't relate to all the sex jokes and all the stuff you guys be talking about sex being a need and all of this stuff with your relationships. Like, I don't relate to it. I don't get it, but I support you anyway. And the white woman sitting next to me was like, wow, that's so interesting. I always thought that you were just like conservative or uncomfortable or anything like that. Like, I had no idea that you know, were a different sexuality. So thought that was she was just genuinely interested in my experience and like getting to know me better. But the black woman across from me was like, well, no, that's not right because I know someone who's asexual and they're out there. Like they like everybody, they date everybody, they have sex with everybody. And I was immediately kind of like, you know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, here we go. I don't want to get into it, but I'm about to get into it. And the NB is actually demisexual. And I was thinking, I was like, they better not fucking say a damn thing. No offense to demisexual people, but I know that their stance is the whole asexual is a spectrum and there's all this other stuff under asexuality. And I'm just not down with that way of thinking, but I don't fight them over it. They at least acknowledge that they are not asexual, that they are demisexual. So I will let that be what it is. Um, but they were saying that, and so what I ended up saying, I was like, that sounds like one of those micro labels. They sound like they're a micro label. And my therapist, seeing where this was going, was like, it's a spectrum, and some people are on one end, and some people are on the other end, and and there's a variety of different experiences. There's no one way to be asexual, all that stuff. Which one, I don't like asexuality being called a spectrum, but I understood why she said it that way because taking note of who was all at the table, um, that's like the best way to kind of, you know, get everybody to calm down, kind of mediate the situation. But two, I will say that there are different experiences to being asexual. There's not like one type of asexual experience. That is true. Oh, my girls are, y'all ate y'all lunch? Sadie, you want to come up here? Want to come up here? Come on up here. Hey, BB. Thank you. Thank you for coming give me snuggles. You finished eating lunch? Good girl. She's purring. I know y'all can't hear it because it's so quiet. All right, sit down. But yeah, there's no one way to be an asexual person technically because there are a variety of experiences and ideas. And I do make room for that. I don't think that there's only one type of person who can be asexual. Um, but yeah, so she said it that way, and it made the black person calm down and stop talking so much, and they start talking to somebody else about something else. And then, but the white woman sitting next to me was like, you know, I'm really interested in your experiences, Minu. I'm really interested in how you feel about these things because I don't know any asexual people. So I would like to know your experiences, how you feel. She asked me about like, you know, relationships and so you don't like men, you don't like women. How are you with, you know, how do you feel about them romantically? Um, is dating hard for you and all of that stuff. So she's just genuinely interested in my experience and I told her and she was like, "Oh, wow, that's really interesting. I can imagine it'd be very difficult in this day and age to date somebody letting and you tell them that you don't want to have sex and they're like expecting that." Like she was very validating and everything. um so that conversation went well. And hey, I just wanted to throw in something that I forgot to throw in. So when I was telling the woman that was sitting next to me about being ace and not wanting to have sex with anybody and all of that stuff, she did ask me, quote, but can you have sex with yourself? Which I thought was a really interesting way to ask. And I didn't have to answer it. I could have said, "Hey, that's a little too personal. I don't want to talk about it." But I decided to answer it because I mean, I do this. This is what we do here. So I was willing to like have that conversation. And I told her, I was like, "Well, like I have a really low libido, but when it does come up, sometimes I'm like." I explained it because I kind of tried to touch on this in group one time, and I got overtaken by somebody else who thought that sex was a need and how dare their partner not have sex with them when they wanted it and the partner didn't. Um, it got kind of sidetracked, and I didn't get to say my stuff. But I told them that there are some times when I do like feel arousal and I get confused for a second because I was like, wait, what's that? Oh, that's that thing. That's that thing. And then I'm like, wait, do we really want this? Or is my body looking for a sense of safety to where um, I'm just like, I'm not feeling safe. So my body wants me to do the things that make me feel safe and all of that stuff. I know that sounds so weird, guys, but it's something I discovered in physical therapy. Anyway, I told her that and I was like, yeah, oh, hey, Sadie. Yeah, I do watch porn, but honestly, like lately, it's been getting real boring. Like I'm one of the people who watch porn for the plot, and there's not been a lot of good plot lately in the videos that I've come across. And I try changing countries and stuff, and I'm just like, yes, ma'am. Um, so I told her that, and she was like, yeah, get off that home page. You gotta get into categories and like experiment with different videos and stuff. And she was like, maybe you have like a kink or something, like a niche kink or something, like kind of as a joke, which is totally fine for ace people to have kinks. Like there's people who follow me who do. Um and maybe I do. Who the fuck knows? I have to watch more. But like I just don't be feeling like it sometimes, so I don't do it. Like if I don't feel like looking at porn, I'm not gonna look at porn. You know? If I'm aroused and I don't feel like looking at porn or I feel like that's gonna be a lot of extra work for me, then I'm just not gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna force myself to engage with this content because I'm trying to unlock some secret turn on. Like it's not worth all that effort to me, honestly. And sometimes it's just annoying having to scroll through 50 million videos to find something that looks kind of okay that you might like to watch. Um I just don't have the libido for it. Like my libido will go away if I don't do nothing with it within the first like 15-30 minutes. You know what I mean? So I spent all this time trying to find a video and then it goes away and I'm just like, oh, well, back to watching TV then. So I did tell her about that. And so she wasn't being mean. I know some of you are going to be like, these fucking cis hets and always trying to like make you be sexual and all that stuff. It's not always like that. It's literally this person had never met an asexual person. They were learning. They wanted to know my experiences. They asked a question. I decided to answer the question. And I'm very confident that if I did not want to answer the question, they would not have pushed me. And they didn't push me deeper than the porn thing. I've had people push and be like, but if you got a partner, like obviously you would do it, right? Because you have to in a relationship, you have to do it. Like I've had people push me like that. They didn't push me like that. They was just like, oh man, that's really cool. I heard of it, but I had never met somebody like that. So, that's really, really interesting. Now I know an asexual person. That's kind of how their vibe was. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was all I wanted to throw in there just to make sure um y'all don't get like super upset. And some of you will anyway, but it is what it is. The night went well. We had our drinks, we ate good food, we went home. I would say another thing that I realized about myself is I am like an athletic person trapped in a very non athletic body. Like something about my body, when I do difficult things like lifting something heavy or like spending an hour and a half jumping on a trampoline or doing an intense dance workout or something like that, these are things that I like my body. I'm thinking and I'm talking to my body. And I'm like, body, can you do this? And my body's like, hell no, I can't do that. Why would you even ask me something so stupid? And then I'll be like, let's just try it. And then I would do it and I'd be like, since when can we do this, body? I thought you said we can't do this. How is it that we were able to do this? Like, even my therapist was tired after like 20, 25 minutes. How did I outlast everybody on the trampolines? Jumping on the trampoline is a workout. The fact that I walked out and people were like, oh, my lungs, my body, my legs. And I was like, I feel fine. Since when can I do all of that? Now it's making me like want to get a place where I can get a trampoline and just do it. Because that's a great workout. It's a fun workout to do. But I just never thought I was capable of it. Like, I literally was like, okay, I'm going to jump for 15 minutes and then I'm probably going to pass out. Like, but I be doing these things that I tell myself that I can't do, but when I actually go to do it, I can do it. So that was a huge win for my inner child, very restorative to have those experiences. Nobody made me feel embarrassed for getting stuck in stuff, cuz that's the first thing I would have felt like, "Oh my god, I got stuck in a foam pit. I'm so fat, blah 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 blah." Nobody made me feel like that. They were like, "Yeah, I got stuck in there too. It's crazy. We'll help you out." And it was just very good. It was very restorative. Kind of like in the other video where I talked about actually crying in front of people for the first time in a long time and how they like comforted me and everything. So that was very good. A very big win for me. Another win this week has been eating. So I haven't been really eating well. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been using the air fryer like a bitch. I've been eating, it's been gluten free food, but it's still been like chicken tenders and fries and shit like that and pizza rolls. They're all gluten free, but it's still not the healthiest. So this week I've committed myself to saying I'm gonna eat at least one celery stalk and one cucumber a day. One mini cucumber, not a huge, not the big one. Um, and that's not been super comfortable to do, but I've been doing it for lunch. I've eaten in addition to other foods, you know what I mean? But I start my lunch every day this week with a stalk of celery, and then a mini cucumber. Um, and it's very hydrating. I don't eat cucumbers because I don't like the taste of crunchy water, but it was very hydrating. And I started squirting lemon juice. Like, once you get the cucumber like open, you squirt lemon juice in it and absorbs it, and it makes it so much easier to eat. So I've been doing that. I know it's a small step, but it was very big for me. So I appreciate. Um, I'm proud of myself that I've been able to do that, stick to that. After I'm finished recording this video, I'm gonna go do another one. Um, and really just trying to, tell myself, you were taught to hate vegetables. You were taught to hate the things that are good for you and good for your body. And so I've been drinking more of these like cold pressed green juices and really just adjusting my taste buds to being able to actually eat more vegetables. So I'm very happy about that as well. And also, I'm gonna say it like this. I was talking to a friend who works with law and all that stuff. They're not a lawyer, but they work in the realm. They go to law school and everything. And I was telling them about my Sadie, you just came over. You were just like, you should be done talking by now, ma'am. I done ate my lunch and came in here. I watched the I looked at a squirrel outside and now I turn around, you still talking? Um, but yeah, so I was talking to them about how things have been going with work and how I was able to, the way that I look at things, the analytical way that I look at things with everything that had been going on. Like I said, with my job, where I've been recording conversations, where I've been taking copious meeting notes since day one, where I've been seeing and recognizing patterns and looking up HR stuff and researching legal stuff. And they said to me they were working with this lawyer and was telling him about me, and they were like, "Why aren't you in law school?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "You could totally be a lawyer." And I was like, "What are you talking about? No, I'm not smart enough for all of that. No, I'm a dumb person." Like, and they were like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're super analytical, you know all of these things. You're like establishing patterns, you're catching things as they happen. You're like reading in between the lines, you take all these notes, you know how to cover your butt. Like, how old are you again? Like, you could really do this. Like, you could really be a lawyer because just from the way you think, let alone like your background and everything. And it had me thinking, and I'm gonna let y'all go in a minute, but I'm just kind of like, doing my little December update. It had me thinking about like the imposter syndrome and everything, and the gifted child syndrome, because I'm somebody who has to know, I have to know everything. Like I said in the adulting video, you have to fucking know everything when you're a independent person. Like, I have to know all this about my car. Like, I bought new windshield wipers and I put them on my car myself. Did it take me a long ass time to figure out how to get them hoes off and on? Yes, it did. But did they go on and did they work well to where it's literally raining outside right now and I drove wherever I wanted to and they work? Yes. Had to learn how to put fluids in my car, had to learn how to jumpstart a car. Um, all of these things that I just have to know how to do. Like, I recently replaced my computer's hard drive with an SSD drive. You think I know fuck about hard drives? No, I don't. But I found out how to. I went online and I did my research and I got the cables and I connected shit, and now I have an SSD drive in my computer and my computer's gonna run faster. Um, Learning about graphics cards. Like, I have to learn about all this stuff. I have to learn about employment law. I have to learn about HR policies. I have to know a lot of things in order to function as an independent adult. But it's a lot of self taught stuff, even with Japanese and Spanish, right? It's self taught. It's not that I was in a class or I spent 4 years getting a degree in this. I just have to learn it on my own. I had to learn about all the different things you could do with vinegar. Like, I didn't know you could use vinegar as a fabric softener. That shit work wonders. Now I do and I use it. But the thing that always gets me and the thing that makes the imposter syndrome so strong is because when I meet people and they see how young I am, which I often forget how old I actually am, when they see how young I am and how I know all these things and how independent I am, I think I sometimes worry that their expectations are too high and then they get surprised when there's something that they may view as a simple thing that I just completely overlooked. Because when you learn things by yourself, you're going to have gaps because you didn't learn it professionally. You didn't go through the official steps to learn something. And so I have these weird gaps in my knowledge that surprises people. And when it surprises them, I immediately feel like guilt and shame and, yep, you're actually dumb. They think you're dumb, blah, 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 blah. Um, like I did it with cleaning. I was never taught how to clean properly. I just started doing shit as I noticed things were dirty. And when I told my therapist that I don't bleach my tub on a weekly basis, she looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, if you didn't bleach your tub, it's not clean. And I'm like, I use cleaning products specifically for tubs and mold and mildew in bathrooms, but I don't use bleach. And she's like, you got to use bleach? You don't use bleach? And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't know I was supposed to be bleaching everything all the time, or the fact that the shitty apartment I live in, my tub and my countertops and my sinks, they're painted. That's paint. It's not ceramic, it's paint. And when I tell people this, they're like shocked. They're like, that's not how you clean a tub. I'm like, yeah, they just paint over it. And when the paint peels and I call them, they come and they paint it again. And they're like, you've been bathing in a painted tub? And I was like, I've been in this apartment for years now. Yeah, yes, I've been bathing in a fucking painted tub. And when it's time to clean it, I clean it and I go back to my business. Like, and they're like, that's you should call some board or something on them. That's crazy that they would do that. I don't fucking know. I don't know housing law. I don't know housing law, okay? I have a place to stay. And I clean that tub to the best of my ability. And then I take my shower and I go on about my day. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things where I have these little gaps that people don't expect from me. Like, there's been several times when my therapist was like, of course is this. And I'm like, I didn't fucking know that. And it's like, I have the wherewithal to read through an employment contract and argue down different legal points that I don't want. And I'll miss something about the time off plan. It just happens. It just happens. And I'm trying to tell myself that it's okay because I'm self taught. Even talking to my legal friend and her friend that's a lawyer, and they're being like, "Oh, why aren't you in legal school? You're so smart. You know all of these things." I'm like, "I don't know everything. I don't know everything." Like they started spouting off legal jargon to me. Like I speak legalese. I don't speak legalese, okay? They talking about Section 8 of 125 and Title VII and all of this stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, I mean, I can Google it. Don't mean I know everything about it though. I know a lot of things and I don't know a lot of things. I don't know a good way to explain to people that I've had to self learn so much that there are gaps because there are gaps. You know, um, I'm getting into, the echinacea and and the elderberry and the zinc and all of that stuff for helping improve my immune system, which has helped a lot. But that doesn't mean that I know every supplement that cures everything in your body. Just because I know about echinacea, don't mean I know about some ball. I don't fucking know. I just made that up. But you know what I mean? Like I keep running into that and it hits me in the imposter syndrome stuff and it hits me in the gifted child areas because I was always expected to just magically know things. And don't get me wrong, I knew a lot as a kid, but that didn't mean I knew everything. And trying to get that education, that teaching, that coaching from the people around me was really, really difficult because I was seen as someone who knew more than them. And so there was just a lot of little stuff that I feel like other people know that I just don't know. And I feel like it makes me look stupid in those moments because there's such this high expectation of me to know everything. And then something comes through and I had no idea. I had no idea we do this. I had no idea we do that. I don't know how to cook like in a way of like, oh, I'm gonna bake a pie. I don't know all the stuff that goes into a pie. And if you were to give me a recipe to bake a pie, I would still find a way to not do it exactly right because I just don't have that cooking aptitude talent that other people have where they can look at a bunch of ingredients and picture what they're going to make of it. Or they can look at the thing and then picture the ingredients they need to make that thing. I don't have that brain. I'm just all over the place. I don't know. And the last thing too is that I went to physical therapy and we did amazing. I'm up to the second to last dilator, which is like a normal size, you know what? That's not what I'm using dilators for, by the way. I'm using it for my physical health. But she had a great time. She was like, "You've made so much progress. This is amazing. At this point, you really don't even need to see me anymore because you are making so much progress." I am going to see her one more time just to do a all around pelvic floor exam just to make sure that all the muscles are where they need to be now. But like we had to undo over 20 years of tightness due to trauma and fear. Like from before I could remember, before the age of 5, my body, my pelvic floor, and the rest of my body has tightened up to protect itself against the constant onslaught of trauma that was happening to it. And pelvic floor therapy, specifically pelvic floor therapy with a trauma lens and a trauma focus, has helped me release so much trauma. And I've said this in another other video where I talked about there's two sides of the pelvic floor, right? One side was the trauma from all the different people in my life, the people who had caused me so much trauma that they ingrained themselves in my body, like their voices. Like some people say there's a negative voice in their head and it's their mother, those people. And then the other side was the sense of self. We spent a lot of time getting those people out of my body. And then we spent time opening me up to where I can search for who I really am beneath all of this, before all of the trauma, or who I am, outside of the trauma. I didn't think that person existed, but I'm going to have to form that person. I'm going to have to develop that person. Um, and so that's really, really good because I feel amazing. I feel like there's these huge weights that have been lifted off of me. Going no contact with the family really, really helped. But also, taking the trips that I did, going places by myself, getting to know like who I am when no one else is around has been very powerful. And physical therapy has helped me a lot with my pain my pain management. I've been eating healthier, not eating so much gluten, which has helped a lot. The soy has helped me in terms of not having so many uterine cramps. I'm taking supplements like getting more magnesium and all of these different things. And physical therapy has been a huge part of that because when she's talking to me in therapy, she's talking to my inner child. She's talking to the 5-year-old, 3-year-old child who didn't feel safe and felt like she had to curl in on herself. And that child has now learned that she can relax, release, open up, and it has caused me to have such an easier time, in terms of cramping, in terms of like going to the restroom. Um, and I'm going to try. I haven't had one in a while because I misused my birth control. My OBGYN knows, but I'm going to try at the end of this year to have a period for the first time in forever. And that's literally like been such a traumatic thing my whole life because I got my period in 3rd grade and it was always so bad that I would pass out and go to the emergency room. But now that my pelvic floor is open and not crunched in on itself, um, I'm going to try and see if I can have a normal period. And if I can, that might start the journey to me going off of birth control, which would be a huge thing for me because I've been on birth control since I was 16. So, yeah, that is also a huge win from this past week. So, let me just wrap all of this up in conclusion. Conclusion, huge wins. Hair, yes, healthy, beautiful. I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the styles. I feel like I can do things with it. Things are possible with my hair. Trampoline Park. Another thing that I didn't think was possible, I've realized is possible, and I'm very proud of myself for being able to go there and enjoy myself with these people, open up and be vulnerable and have a great time, pushing my body to limits I didn't know it had. Um, the other thing was talking about the constant compliments I was getting from people and how intelligent I am and being able to accept those compliments and be like, I am very smart. And I recognize that I am feeling imposter syndrome because of these things. I'm aware of this. And that allows me to be able to take those compliments and be like, yes, I am smart. Yes, I am capable. Yes, I am very analytical and independent. And that has helped me a lot getting through these things that other people would be crying on the floor about right now. And then finally, having this amazing physical therapy experience, helping me not be in crippling pain from spasms, helping me connect to my inner child, helping me understand how to soothe my inner child, um, being able to use dilators. Never thought I would ever put anything in there. Um, but being able to use those and being able to recognize the feelings in my body and being okay with that. I'm not afraid of my body anymore. And that is an amazing thing. Thank you, Sadie. I appreciate the love and the support. You've been helpful too. Thank you. I love you. Oh, my allergies have been better too since I've been taking elderberry echinacea supplements and my allergies have been a lot better. So yeah, I'm doing great. Like I said, I'm happy with my life choices as of this moment. And I appreciate you guys for always supporting me and being in a Discord. And like I said, I appreciate those of you who have sent me like jobs that you've had open up at your company. Like it means a lot that you guys would, want me to work at the companies that you work at. Like that's awesome. Like you guys think that I'm a good enough person to be like, yeah, I recommend you. That means a lot. If you guys want to support me as the holidays here, if you want to throw me a few dollars here and there, you can do so on coffee. Like I said, please join a Discord. We're having great discussions there. Everyone who's joined has been great. I love talking to you guys. Um, and what else? You can follow me on Instagram where I post photos of my cats and also delicious gluten-free foods. That's pretty cool. And yeah, like I always say, thank you guys for listening to me and supporting me. And make sure you're drinking your water. It has to be water. Water. drinking your water, eating your food, taking your naps, and loving on yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Um, well, I guess I do love you guys, but I'll see you in the next video. Bye.